Hello everyone, welcome back to Racy Love. Bonsoir, bonjour tout le monde. Merci d'être revenu sur notre chaîne Racy Love. For those who are new today, please we need your support. I'm gonna try to translate a little bit for French speakers. So please bear with me. I'm gonna try to do it as fast as possible. Je vais essayer de traduire ce que je suis en train de dire en anglais et en français, comme ça tout le monde peut comprendre ce que je suis en train de dire. C'est juste pour vous dire à propos de ce qui s'est passé avec le COVID-19. So just to tell you and to kind of like go back a little bit about the story, how we got COVID-19, my husband and I. Just gonna go to straight to the point. Roman got sick first from his job. Some of his co-workers went on vacation for a few days on Jacksonville, and they came back sick. And then the same day when they came back from work, they excused themselves. They said they were not feeling well, and then they went home. And the next day, everybody got sick. So, brièvement parlant, au travail de mon mari, il y a des gens qui sont partis en vacances. Quand ils sont revenus de vacances, ils ont dit qu'ils ne se sentaient pas bien. Et quand ils sont partis à la maison, le lendemain, tout le monde est tombé malade au travail. And then Roman got sick as well. He was exposed to those people, of course. And he brought the virus home. Et Roman est tombé malade. Il avait des maux de tête le lendemain. Il est rentré à la maison. Il avait des maux de tête. So it's Saturday, a good Saturday, went to the restaurant, eating, he started complaining of headache out of the blue. So we stopped at the pharmacy, got some Tylenol, just not thinking about any COVID-19 at all. On allant au restaurant le samedi, on mangeait, il s'est plein de la tête, des maux de tête, sans rien penser de COVID-19. Et j'ai acheté les médicaments, je lui ai donné les médicaments pendant qu'on mangeait au restaurant, il a dit « je ne me sens pas très bien ». Et après, il a pris les médicaments, ça allait. So the next day, I just kind of like give him more medication later on because the headache was still persisting. He slept okay. In the morning, around 6 o'clock, I touched him and I felt it was extremely hot. It was extremely hot. Le lendemain matin, quand on s'est couché, je me suis réveillée le matin, je l'ai touché sur le dos. Il était complètement très chaud. Et j'ai pris mon thermomètre. I took my thermometer. I checked his temperature. C'était, it was 101.5. C'était en Celsius, ça peut dire 38 par là. Et là, je me suis dit, well, you have COVID-19. That's it. That was the first day on Sunday. I just know it, and I was already exposed to him because we slept in the same bed and everything. So je me suis dit que c'était déjà le Covid. Avec la température qu'il a fait le matin, that was confirmed. So long story short, the next day, I started treating myself right away as I was infected. Donc j'ai pas traîné, j'ai commencé à prendre les médicaments aussi. Et 2 jours après, les maux de tête continuaient avec Roman. 3 jours après, il avait des malaises. Et le 3e jour, moi, j'ai commencé maintenant à voir les symptômes. So the 3rd day, it became really strong. I started really feeling strong symptoms showing. Headache, sore throat, maux de tête, neck and back pain. Unbelievable. Le maux de tête, le maux de dos et le maux de cou, c'était unbearable, c'était trop insupportable, très inconfortable. J'ai eu le loss of appetite, loss of smell, the bad taste, all messed up. Je ne pouvais rien sentir, rien manger, rien goûter. J'ai perdu le goût de la nourriture et la fièvre a commencé le 3e jour. The fever was between 101 and 104, 101 and 103.5. La fièvre m'a dérangé comme tu ne peux pas imaginer. The fever was the worst thing ever, 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 every day. So that was the thing I was trying to control the whole time. So ça allait de 38 0.3 à 30, 39, 72 par là, chaque jour. Donc ça vient, ça part, ça vient, ça part. So it was on and off all day. So I had chills. That was before even I tried to do, you know, I didn't even go test because I already know I had COVID because Raymond tested positive. So I know I had COVID. So je commençais à me traiter sans même me tester. Je savais que j'avais déjà le COVID. Et j'avais le chills, j'avais le cold, chest pain, le mot de la poitrine, le courbature, body aches, short of breath, all of the above. I tell you guys, I was about to die. The fever was unbelievable to the point where I was shaking. I locked myself. I was shivering so much. J'étais en train de trembloter. Je ne pouvais même pas parler. Et quand j'étais au travail, j'ai pas pu prendre le téléphone pour l'appeler pour dire you need to come home, bring me to the hospital. J'ai fait 5 minutes au téléphone pour dial. Et I took a long time to just dial the number to call him. So he was on the way already home. So when he got there, it's like, oh my God, you can't even talk. I couldn't talk. So on top of all that, I had indigestion, I was vomiting, I had diarrhea, j'ai la diarrhée, je vomissais, pas de souffle de respirer. C'était terrible, c'était terrible. Le douleur, de maux de dos et la fièvre, between the back pain and the fever and the chest pain, that was horrible for 3 days. I call a friend's doctor. I say, listen, I have COVID. I need something really right now. I need prescriptions. So, j'ai appelé un ami docteur pour me prescrire des médicaments. Il nous a prescrit 3 médicaments. One of them, c'était les antibiotiques et les médicaments pour aider de respirer. One of them is called azithromycin. Et puis, il y avait l'albuterol. Je vais écrire ça sur le papier pour que vous voyez ça. Tout ça, c'est pour aider avec le traitement de COVID. C'était soit des comprimés qu'on prend pendant 3 jours, 4 jours. So all this treatment was for 4 days. So I bought for Raymond, I bought for I. He said, I don't need it, I'm feeling better. So at his job, they give him like a week off to work, and I took a week off also. I told my agency I cannot work. As a nurse, I have my patients I have to take care of also. So I always have like the basic kits at home, like thermometer, I have the blood pressure cuff, I have the oxygen, the oximeter. I always keep it on me all the time pour checker le oxygène. So l'oxygène normal c'est 100. The regular O2 is 100. I was a healthy person, but it was start going down to 92 and 91. So I kept monitoring the whole time. And then I have my blood pressure cuff here that I keep on my bag. My hand sanitizer always here. And when I go to my patient, I always have my stethoscope to listen to my patient's heart and lungs every day. So je connais déjà quoi faire dans le medical field. Excuse my French. As a nurse, I try to control the fever and I try to control the pain at the same time. And then I got some help from a doctor friend who prescribed some medication like I mentioned earlier. So it was not going well. On Saturday, that was 4 days after the treatment. We finished the treatment. On Saturday, I told my friend, I said, I need to go to the hospital for outpatient to do the chest x-ray. J'ai demandé à ce que je puisse aller prendre le x-ray parce que ma poitrine faisait trop mal. J'avais suspecté que j'avais déjà la pneumonie. Et il m'a prescrit une ordonnance, quelque chose. So I went to the outpatient. I did the x-ray. I couldn't breathe. That was Saturday. On Sunday, I did not sleep at all. My pain, back pain, I slept on the floor. Comfortable. Raymond was feeling fine at that time. It was helping me, getting me up, and so we already had a separate room. He was sleeping in a separate room. I was in a separate room. On dormait déjà séparément. Et on Sunday, I'm like, I gotta go. J'ai checké mon O2. It was 88. Mon nombre a baissé à 88. ce qui est très, très dangereux. Et c'est là que tu dois aller à l'hôpital. Quand c'est déjà à 90, c'est pas bien. Alors, j'ai dit à Raymond, on va à l'hôpital. I told Raymond, let's go to the hospital because this is getting really serious. We went to the ED on Saturday. ED was unbelievable. We stayed there for 10 hours. I was laying on the floor, crying for oxygen. Nobody could give me the oxygen. Everybody was there for COVID-19. ER was packed. Everybody crying, laying on the floor. It was like a zombie land. C'était chaotique. On a attendu pendant 10 heures pour être reçu. Et inconfortable, c'était vraiment a bad experience. I thought I'm gonna die, to the point where I was praying. I said, God, if this is gonna be the life I'm gonna be living, just take my life away. To tell you the truth, I was really desperate. I was really desperate. I was crying for help, crying for breath, just for oxygen. J'étais fatiguée, mentalement, physiquement, moralement fatiguée. Raymond était là à mes côtés. He supported me the whole time. He waited the whole time. Vers 20h30, 21h, around 9 o'clock, I was admitted in the ER. They gave me oxygen right away, 4 liters. They gave me steroids to be able to breathe. And then the doctor said, your results, X-ray results came in, and your lungs really are messed up. You have pneumonia, double pneumonia. So we need to start treating you right now. So they gave me IV because I was dehydrated. Le docteur m'a dit que le résultat de X-ray qu'ils avaient fait, ça confirmait la pneumonie, mes poumons étaient complètement abîmés. Ils m'ont donné des stéroïdes pour pouvoir respirer. Ils m'ont mis sur l'oxygène 4 litres pendant que j'étais encore dans l'emergency room, dans l'emergency room, et ils m'ont traité carrément là pendant 1 heure, 2 heures pour me calmer un peu. Le mot de tête était non-stop. My headache was still there, constantly, not going nowhere. And then from there, the doctor said, are you a smoker? Yeah. I said, no, I've never been sick in my life. You know, je n'ai jamais été malade. Je suis bien portant. Je n'ai pas de underlying pre-existing medical conditions. Je n'ai pas de problème de santé, rien du tout. Il dit la façon dont tes poumons sont abîmés, c'est comme si quelqu'un qui fumait depuis des années. I'm like, wow. So he said your lungs are really bad. It's like somebody who's been smoking for a long time. That's what he said. So this is really bad. We're gonna keep you here for 5 days. We're gonna start the treatment, this C19 treatment. We're gonna admit you upstairs. We're gonna start with the remdesivir steroid to allow you to breathe, IV antibiotics. We're gonna give you all that at once. So I went upstairs in a room. I was admitted at 1 o'clock. J'étais admis dans la chambre au-dessus à 2 heures du matin, 1h30, 2 heures. Ils m'ont bombardé des médicaments. They gave me all kind of medications that I was like dizzy. I'm like, what in the world is going on here? Am I dying or what? So I was really scared, y'all. This is not a joke. This variant Delta is killing. 80% of people in the hospital are vaccinated. So vaccinated people, unvaccinated people, we're all getting sick. We're all seeking for help. Everybody's getting treated at this time. So I asked the doctor if I can get some infusion, the antibiotics infusions. They say it was kind of too late because I've been sick for 5 days already. I can't qualify. Ils ne pouvaient pas me mettre le antibodies dans mon corps parce que j'étais déjà malade pendant plusieurs jours. Donc ils m'ont donné les IV, intravenous. Je vais vous montrer les photos des médicaments qu'on m'a donnés à travers les veines. So it was bags and bags and bags of medications. I lay down there looking around, I'm like, wow. So if you're out there in the hospital right now, if you're out there in your beds, in your bedroom right now, in your couch laying down, suffering of COVID-19, of cancer, leukemia, HIV, anything else, there's nothing impossible. Because I had to stand up for myself. At that time when I lay on that bed in the hospital, I was spiritually angry in a good way. I was angry. I'm like, I do not deserve this. You can tell it to yourself right now. I do not deserve this life, because what God has said for my life, this is not it. God still has to work on me. That's what I was saying. I couldn't talk because every time I talk, I was coughing. Je ne pouvais pas parler parce que quand je parlais, j'étais en train de tousser. J'avais le souffle de vie je n'avais pas de souffle pour respirer, pour parler. Alors je tente de tousser à tout moment et mes nombres étaient en train d'aller un peu bas. So I had to speak in my spirit, I had to speak in my soul, I had to speak in my mind. So I had to close my eyes. I was praying. I said, God, you know who I am. I am your child. 2,000 years ago, you died on the cross for me. You said it is accomplished. The devil is a liar. He's coming here to put fear in me, and I'm not going to listen to that, because I'm better than that. I am your child. You never fail me. You will never gonna fail me. Not today, not ever. So j'ai prié pendant très longtemps. Je priais constamment. Je priais, je tentais de proclamer. I decree, I declare the goodness of God in my life. I decree, I declare the healing in my body. My body is healed. My body is saved. My body is strong. Everything that is going through is just a process. Je priais, je tentais de déclarer ma vie. Je tentais de déclarer ma santé entre les mains du Seigneur. Et c'est ce que tu dois faire. Là où tu es à l'hôpital, tu ne peux pas parler. You cannot talk, you cannot pray for yourself. It's good to have people to pray for you as well. Thank God I have family members, friends who prayed for me. So focus on people who are praying for you. Some people are not going to call you, or are not going to even pray for you or send you a word of encouragement. Don't worry about that. It's okay. You know, it's in a bad time actually that you find a real good friend who can say, hey girl, I'm thinking about you. I know you're in the hospital right now. I'm praying for you. So dans le moment difficile qu'on voit les bons amis, les bons amitiés, juste un petit mot coucou pour dire, hey, je suis là, je suis en train de penser à toi, je sais que tu ne peux pas parler, tu es à l'hôpital, bah, je suis avec toi en prière. That means a lot than being quiet and not saying anything at all. You know, that's why you see true friends. So, j'ai prié constamment, malgré que je ne veux pas la bouche, even though I couldn't open my mouth to pray, but inside of me, my spirit, my mind, my soul was connected to the word of God. J'ai tenté de prononcer le psaume. I was speaking life to myself. I was speaking life to the medication I was getting. I was praying for my neighbors. I was praying for all the doctors, the nurses, all the sick people in the hospital. Je priais pour tout le monde pendant que j'étais dans le lit d'hôpital. Je priais pour le docteur, pour les nurses, tous ceux qui me touchaient, les lab people qui viennent prendre le sang. Je priais pour tout le monde. So I had everybody in prayers. So to tell you that, I have my little notes here so I don't forget anything at all. It's been a lot, you know. It's been a lot. So when I got there, they gave me the medication. They sent me for CT scan. CT scan is to detect if you have any blood clotting on your chest. On m'a envoyé pour faire le CT scan pour voir s'il y avait les blood clotting, pour voir s'il y avait le sang coagulé dans mes poumons. Because if there's a pulmonary embolism, that can kill you in a heartbeat. Pour éviter les coagulations circuler dans le poumon, ça tue très vite. So I went for the CT scan. It was clear, thank God. There was no blood clot. And then the other lady came back in the room with the scanner to scan my legs as well, to see if there's any blood clot on my legs. On m'a aussi scanné les jambes pour voir s'il y avait le sang coagulé dans les jambes. Il n'y avait pas de coagulation. Merci Seigneur. Parce que ça, c'était un concern que le docteur avait. That was a main concern that the doctor had, since my lungs were not doing well. So that can cause more complications as well. So it was just trying to make sure that there was no coagulation, there was no blood clot. They did the ABG test. ABG test is to test how well your lungs are working, to see how the gas exchange is going through, if your lungs are releasing enough oxygen and getting rid of carbon dioxide in your blood. So the test came really bad. The doctor say my ABG numbers are really low, so that's gonna make me stay in the hospital. That was confirmation right there. Ils ont fait l'examen de poumons. Les poumons ne marchaient pas très bien et le docteur n'était pas très satisfait des résultats. Il m'a gardé pendant plus longtemps. Et le premier jour, on m'a donné les médicaments, les stéroïdes, antibiotics. They gave me antibiotics, steroids. And then my headache started getting clear up, the pain started going away, so I started feeling comfortable the first day. They gave me, I was there for 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in the hospital, getting the COVID-19 treatments, 5 jours. 5 jours à l'hôpital. Mais le troisième jour, je me sentais déjà bien, I could breathe by myself. On est allé, they went from oxygen 4 liters to 2 liters on the 4th day, and then the 5th day is only with oxygen. They took it off to see how I can breathe by myself. I was walking around. I had to move around all day. I couldn't sit in the bed because it was too much. I had to move around, m'exercer le poumon, faire the deep breathing treatment by myself, go to the bathroom, wash up. I had to do everything by myself so I can get out of the hospital, because the doctor said if you stay in bed, you're gonna be here for 2 weeks. And that was not the plan I had. I'm not staying here for 2 weeks. Je devais bouger, comme ça je sors de l'hôpital. Sinon, je vais rester là pendant 2 semaines. Et Dieu a fait grâce. Il m'a donné la force. Et ce n'est pas par... Dieu donne l'intelligence aux médecins de faire ce qu'ils doivent faire, bien sûr. On accepte la médecine. Et Dieu aussi a sa grâce particulière sur ma vie. So God has a particular grace in my life. However, the doctors, they did what they had to do because of the knowledge, and we have all the respect for all the doctors and the nurses. As I'm a nurse myself, medical field, science, we believe in that. But above all, y'all, is God. God has control of everything. If He says your life is over today, your life will be over today. Regardless of your health, of going to the gym, of eating healthy, it doesn't matter. When the breath of life is taken away from you, when God said it's time to go, it's time to go. And I know it was not time for me to go yet, because God has planned for me. I have to do a lot for God before I go away. This is my personal relationship with God that I know. There's some stuff I need to see in my life before God takes me away. I'm not scared to die, but I want to die. I want to go away, I will say. I want to go home at the right time, meant by God, but not by the enemy. Je sais que Dieu va m'appeler un jour pour aller home one day, but as of now, I know God is still working in my life. He's still working on me. I still have work to do. So this is in parentheses between me and God, okay? So don't mind me. So long story short, I've been here for 25 minutes already. Oh my God, I was trying to make it so short, but it didn't work. I'm so sorry. So just a last word of encouragement, like I said before, whoever is out there sick in the hospital, laying in the bed, listening to this video, tu es à l'hôpital, tu es à la maison, malade, tu es désespéré, tu ne sais pas comment prier, tu ne sais pas à qui te retourner, you don't know who to look at or who to look for or how to pray, just say one word. God, I believe in you. I believe in you because you are the master of my life. Je crois en toi parce que tu es le maître de ma vie. You are the one who have written my story. You know my story, you know my beginning, you know my end. Not the enemy. My life is in your hands right now. I rely on you 120%. I do not rely on anybody else out there but you, God. I want to make my life straight today with you. If it's your will for me to be with you home today, let it happen and make me ready. That's going to be your prayer today. Don't be scared. Don't let the devil put fear in your head and making any kind of ideas of negativities or depression. Don't open no room for no depression at this time. God loves you for who you are. God loves you with your imperfections. Nobody's perfect. Don't try to be perfect to please nobody out there. Worry about pleasing God, not a man, not a human being on this earth. Stay blessed. Keep your faith up. Keep your head up. And know that the God we serve is a mighty God. Okay? He's always there for you. When you call upon his name, he's always there to answer. So, to make this, to end this video, I want to thank you guys for being here today. Roman say hi. He recovered totally. He's doing well. He's been cooking and cleaning a little bit more. And I've been trying to help. I'm in a good spirits. I keep myself in a good spirit. And I keep myself strong so I can go back to my job as well, because I do have patients I have to take care of. I miss my babies, my pediatric nurse. So I take care of the autistic patients. I take care of patients who have trachs, who have G-tube, mental issues. So that's what I'm doing for this year. I did hemodialysis in the past. I did nursing home in the past. So that's going to be another subject for another day about my career. So as of today, I thank you so much for being here. Thank you for your patience. Thank you for your support. And I hope I did touch every aspect. And if you have any question about any detail that I missed out, please make a comment down below and let me know in whatever you have as a comment or any other video you want me to talk about. If you want me to elaborate more about this, let me know. So merci pour votre soutien. Merci parce que je suis aussi infirmière. Je travaille avec les enfants qui sont autistes, des enfants qui ont des problèmes de respiration, de manger. Et je vais rentrer au travail très bientôt. Et si vous avez des questions à poser en français, ne manquez pas de poser, de mettre votre commentaire là-dessus. Et je ne manquerai pas de vous répondre. Et merci encore beaucoup plus. Thank you guys. And I love you and thank you for your support. May God bless you and let's stay connected. Okay? Ciao. See you next time.